so we just want to ask you some basic information just about like your time at Oakville,
Yeah.
your career now, and the future of Oakville.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So when did you attend OHS?
Well, I graduated Oakville High School in 1988, but I was a product of the Mehlville School District from kindergarten on. I went to Woolwyn Elementary and then Oakville. We called it Oakville Junior then. It's Oakville Middle now. And then straight to the big halls of Oakville Senior. So I am Mehlville School District R9 through and through.
How do you feel about being recognized and being a part of the Mehlville School District Hall of Fame?
Well, it's a huge honor. You know, it's always nice to be recognized for anything, whether it's sports or career achievements. But I really believe there's something special about an award or an acknowledgement that comes from home. You know, because no matter where you go, and I've lived all over the United States now, and I've been lucky enough to travel all over the world, but you always come back here. You always come back home. And just today, you know, when our tour bus, we got here at about 7 this morning, and I immediately just went right down to the, you know, I found the nearest banks of the Mississippi River and just sat there with my coffee like I used to do when I was a kid. And it just brings it all back, you know, and you see the familiar road signs, and you have the familiar foods, and you see the faces of your family. It's just really beautiful. So this award to me lets me know that while I haven't forgotten home, home hasn't forgotten me, which makes it all the more special.
That was so sweet. I was not expecting that. So, growing up, most specifically in high school, so we want to focus on Oakville, how did you envision your future?
I always knew that I was going to be in some aspect of the entertainment industry. I never really knew exactly what that was going to entail. I grew up watching guys like Bob Barker on The Price is Right, Johnny Carson on the old Tonight Show. And I realized at a very early age that these guys were entertaining people just by being themselves. And so I wanted to do that. I never wanted to be an actor. I never wanted to be a comedian. I just wanted to go be me, or a slightly exaggerated version of me. And then I started hearing the voices on the radio at night when I was doing my homework. I would go upstairs, and my mom and dad gave me a deal. They said, you can have a stereo up there as long as it doesn't affect your grades. And, you know, and it wasn't so much the music, it was the voices that came on in between the music. And so that's the dream I pursued full throttle. And I started my radio career here in St. Louis, and that led to television, and that led to going out to Hollywood. But I always knew the general direction, I just didn't know the specific path. And I think all of us at that age, we have ideas, so many ideas. And that's what's beautiful about being young and being in high school, is you have the opportunity to explore all of them. There are no limits and no risks and no limitations that should preclude you from chasing anything you want to do. And I had a supportive family that said, hey, if this is what you want, go do it. And the main benefit of that is now I have high school age children, and I can pass that on to them. You know, dreams, as crazy as they may seem to some, are the most important things in the world to others. So I was always encouraged and always supported, and the teachers at Oakville were part of that support. You know, they patted me on the back, they said, go do your thing. And even now, when I see certain teachers from back in those days, you know, they're the very same, and it's beautiful.
Okay, so to be able to be interviewing you today, Coach No had us do some research so that obviously we know our subject.
Right.
We have to dive in and figure out all these cool things.
Right.
Number one, we have an interest. Number two, we don't go in. So what's your name?
Right, sure.
But for the people back home who don't get to do that research, so lucky, what do you do?
Well, a lot of things. I spent over a decade on E! Entertainment Television. I was on the red carpet hosting, interviewing all the stars for the Academy Awards, the Grammys, the Emmy Awards, and then I fell in love with game shows, and I became a game show host. And I've essentially been doing that for 20 plus years. I love being a game show host, whether it's on television or as the traveling Price is Right host. which is where we are tonight. Because when you're a game show host, it's like being Santa Claus 365 days a year, you know. And everyone talks about reality television, and there really is nothing real about reality television. The only true reality television is game shows. People get up and they play a game, and they don't know if they're going to win or if they're going to lose. And I love being there for that. I love sharing those moments with people when they win $10,000 or $15,000 or a new car or a vacation that they haven't been able to take. And every night it's a different show, it's a different city, it's a different audience, it's a different contestant, and everybody has a reason why they're there, and everyone has a story. So, you know, it's just a beautiful world to live in, the game show world. So a game show host is primarily, I think, what I'm known for. I've written a couple of books which have done well and hopefully entertained a lot of people. But it's all about the game shows, and you know, I think it all comes down to, I think when it's all done for me, I just want people to say, you know, that's a guy that had a pretty good life and enjoyed every minute of it. You know, that's really, I'm at the age now where I don't stress about too much. So the number one goal is enjoying my life and being a good dad, and follow that up with being the best game show host I can be.
So what I'm hearing a lot is that game show host has been your favorite. It's why you're choosing to stick with it. But did you have a favorite career like before then? Sounds like you got to jump around a lot.
Yeah. Well, this job, I make no secret about. Of all the things I've been able to do, whether it was, you know, being on the radio in St. Louis or you know, being on E! Entertainment Television, this Price is Right show has been a part of my life for 18 years, and that's pretty significant in the world of entertainment. So, of everything I've done, this has probably been my favorite. There have been a lot of things that I've done, knowing that it was something you needed to do to get to that next step. That's what, you know, a career is. But this to me is the top of the mountain. And when I get to walk out on that stage every night, especially in my hometown, I know that I made the right choices.
How do you feel that OHS has helped you get here?
Well, look, I'm not one of those people that says you have to get that 4-year degree or you have to go out and get your doctorate or your PhD. For me, I knew a college education wasn't required to do what I wanted to do. But high school certainly was, not only academically, but socially, because it is in those 4 years that you meet every type of person to some degree. Maybe not to the degree you'll meet them later on. You know, maybe you won't meet the gossipy clique over here, or the bully clique over here, or the popular clique back here, to the degree that they seem in your face in high school. But being at Oakville, it was such a great part of town to live in at that time. There was a sense of community, yet you still felt like you could spread out a little bit. We had kids from all over the St. Louis area there. That exposure was wonderful at that age. We had really liberal teachers. There were a few teachers that really encouraged free thinking and the exploration of thought and the asking of questions that a lot of teachers don't do. A lot of people today don't do it. They don't encourage asking why certain things are. I never felt stifled at Oakville. And I made lifelong friendships. I think people probably do that no matter where they go to school, but for me that was Oakville. And to be able to maintain those friendships today and have all those great memories to look back on, that's what's special. That's what serves as the foundation.
What type of activities or like any special classes did you participate in?
Yeah, I played football freshman year, wasn't very good. Played basketball freshman year, wasn't very good. So the rest of the time, I partied a lot. I had a girlfriend all through all 4 years of high school, so I spent a lot of time kissing in the hallways up against my locker. went to all the dances. Man, didn't miss a lot of classes. Was one of the lucky ones that got a parking permit pretty early on, so that's always good for your social status. And but yeah, I remember we would stay after and shoot hoops in the gym, and I remember having a very social life. Man, boy, you ask these questions, and I'm like, geez, it's been 30 plus years. Holy cow! But it's nice that all these memories are coming back. Yeah, I wasn't super active in the sports.
Yeah, follow up on that. I was going to ask, because we heard about you doing, when you were like 18 or 17, you'd go to East St. Louis and DJ at nightclubs.
Man, when I was a sophomore, or when I was a junior in high school, I opened up the Riverfront Times, and I saw a little ad it said MC Wanted at area nightclub, a 618 area code. So I called it. Of course, it was long distance. You guys don't even know what long distance is now. I mean, but long distance to me at that time meant, oh man, I'm going to have to pay my dad for this phone call. They said we're looking for an MC and a DJ. And it turned out it was in East St. Louis. So I went over there. I got the job, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights I was a DJ in East St. Louis till 4 a.m. And again, another deal with my parents. They said, as long as the grades don't drop, you're welcome to go over there, which was, super supportive, and I'm thrilled they did, but I would never let my kids do that. Or maybe I would, man, who knows? But it was, again, I just put on my Instagram today, I just saw one of my buddies that I worked with over there on the east side all those years ago. I just saw him today, and I thought to myself, man, over 30 years, this guy's been a part of my life, and he's a little older than I am, but back then, he kept the wrong kind of people away from me, introduced me to the right kind of people. He was the first one to call and congratulate me when I had my first child, and now he's my favorite tattoo artist in the world. And but yeah, that was quite a job for a 17-year-old guy. I think I saw and did some things that a lot of 17-year-olds probably don't get to see and do. Some of them not recommended, others highly encouraged. Yeah, that's great. It's good times.
Okay, going back to Oakville.
Uh-huh.
What do you feel like the most important value or lesson you learned there? Whether that be like, well, I'm assuming it's probably not algebra.
Right.
But something.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not algebra. Family and community. Family and community was highly valued, not only in my home, but I also felt it was by a lot of the teachers and a lot of the administrators that we had at the time. There was a principal, a vice principal there by the name of Mr. Lunsford, who I don't believe is with us any longer, but Mr. Lunsford was very good friends with my grandmother. So a lot of times I'd pass him in the hallways and I'd get one of these, he's as if my grandmother was keeping an eye on me while I was at school. But I realized how important that sense of family and that sense of community, which is really prominent in the Oakville area, it's all around St. Louis. That sense of community, I realize how valuable that is now that I'm out in other areas. I've lived in places where there is zero sense of community. And I now live in a place specifically so that I could raise my kids with that feeling. So I would really encourage anyone that's attending Oakville to really focus on the people that are around you, because they're beautiful, most of them, and they're loving and they're supportive when the time comes to be supportive, and they'll be with you for the long haul. At least they were for me, and that's what I hope for everyone, every student there now.